Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Raj. Yeah.
Hello. Sir, this is Aditya.
Yeah. Hi, Aditya. This
Hi,
is
sir.
and anybody else was there online with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah. Aditya is one guy. I understood. Like another person. What may I know your name and your background?
Hi. I'm Anbu.
Okay.
Anbu, and I'm from computer science background. I did my engineering in the stream of computer science.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. So, and basically, Aditya, what is your background?
I did my engineering in computer science branch.
Hmm.
Hello. And I don't
Yeah.
have any experience.
Okay.
Uh, I completed my engineering this year.
Mm-hmm. Fine, good. So both of you have completed your engineering recently, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Fine. And is there any particular reason why you have chosen these paths? Like,
Actually, my brother is working in ABAP itself, in the
oh,
SAP.
good. Uh-huh.
So he recommend me to do this.
Okay, good, fine. Hmm. So this is you are Aditya, right? Your Aditya's brother is there in
Yeah,
Mabap. Okay, fine.
yeah.
Fine then. With a small introduction, now today we will just go into some details of ERP and then SAP. What will happen in the real time scenario towards SAP projects and all. Okay.
Okay.
So any idea? The ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. ERP definition stands for Enterprise Resource Planning.
Okay.
Okay, so that means in a given organization, how the resource will be managed. So that is the main concept of the ERP.
Okay.
Okay, so any ERP is managing different modules. Say for example, if you take a company, in a company there will be different modules like material management, production and planning, quality management, finance, control. These there are several departments will be there in any big industry, right?
Yeah.
So now you need to have a tool which should control everything so that there should not be any loss occurring due to the data mismatch.
Okay.
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 So the ERP purpose is to integrate all the modules in a company.
Yeah.
So what I will say is SAP is a child of the ERP. There are several other packages where ERP has, like for example, if you take a PeopleSoft, Oracle, these are the also the products of ERP, but SAP is a number one product
Okay.
because it maintains its data very structured way. SAP maintains, that means if you put some data into the SAP, it will not miss out by any chance. That means you can have 100% guarantee of the data when you put the data in SAP. Okay.
Okay.
So then what SAP stands for? Any idea?
System application products in data processing.
Yeah, good. System application product in data processing.
Yes.
So SAP is a child of ERP. Being a child of ERP, SAP is also integrated with several modules. Okay,
Okay.
like FSEO, PPQM, latestly MDM, Material Data Management, CRM, Customer Relationship Management, SRM, Service Relationship Management. So these are all the new modules which are coming up. Anyway, all the modules of SAP are written in the code of ABAP. So if you take any module, the background logic is written in the language of ABAP.
Okay.
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 So what is this ABAP? ABAP stands for
Advanced business application programs.
Advanced Business Application Programs. Yeah. So this is what ABAP, because the thing is here one more guy with me. His name is Vinod. He is also joined to learn ABAP. Okay.
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 So fine, with this small introduction, I just want to take you into the SAP screens actually.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So fine. Now you are able to see the desktop. My desktop you can see, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, fine. Whenever you want to log in into the SAP, there was a SAP logon icon here in your desktop. Just try to click here, double click here. So these are the number of servers. This pop-up is called a logon pad. Okay.
Okay.
So here there will be number of servers. If you observe here, EHP3 is one server, EHP4 is another server, ECC6 is another server. Okay. So for you, there will be a user ID and password will be created. So take the user ID and password from the respective management people. You can take it from Raj very soon. So what you need to do after getting the user ID and password, click on logon. Select the server first and click on logon. Here there is icon logon is there. Here click on the logon. So this is the SAP initial screen. Has anybody already seen this SAP initial screen, or you are new to SAP?
I have already.
Okay, somebody has already seen. Fine, good. And one, Vinod, have you ever gone through it? Okay, fine. So Aditya, so you
Yes,
have
sir.
already seen this. You have already
No,
seen this screen, right? No. Then
No, sir.
humble.
Yeah, I have already
Okay,
seen
fine.
this.
Fine.
Okay.
See, that means whenever you are trying to log in into the SAP, you need to mention the 4 parameters here in the initial screen. The first parameter is the client.
Okay.
Yep. Second one is the user, password, and language. User will be given to you. Everybody, individual user IDs will be given. For example, my user ID, I will log in with user 115. My user ID is user 115.
Okay.
And there will be a password. Yeah, the password also will be given to you. You can type the password. And in the third place you need to give the language. Okay. SAP supports around 29 languages including English, German, Italian, Spain, Portuguese, France, so on and so forth. So there are 29 languages are there which SAP supports.
Any Indian languages?
Indian languages no, only English.
Okay.
Basically SAP is a German tool which was invented in German. Okay.
Okay.
So the SAP will not support any local Indian languages, but it will support many of the other country specific languages.
Okay.
Okay. So what is the advantage of these languages is, say for example, tomorrow if you develop one program or tomorrow if you develop one application, then if you log in German language, that will appear to you in a German language. If you log in a Italian language, the same screen will appear to you in Italian language. So that is the advantage. Fine. So what I will do is I will give my language here English. So what and all you need to specify here. First one is a client, second one is a user, third one is a password, and fourth one is a language. So 4 parameters you need to specify. Then click on enter. Yeah. And the question here is, what is a client? Any idea?
No.
Yeah. So do you know what is the client server architecture?
Yes.
Server and client. Any idea? Yeah. So what is a client is? Client basically shares the server details. Okay. So what will happen? SAP will recommend you to have 3 servers. So just put a side heading system landscape. System landscape of SAP. So you can just make a note that SAP will recommend you to have 3 servers. First server is called development server. Second server is called quality. And third server is called production server. Say for example, if you take this server is development server. So there SAP recommend you to have 3 servers. So first, every server will be connected to clients. Say for example, now a server is located for us in US. Now in Jayanagar also we are able to access the server. In Bashwashwar Nagar also you can able to access the same server. Okay. So that is the advantage of server client architecture. But the server is placed in some different locations, so you can access the system details through clients. Okay. So basically in the client, in the SAP initial screen, you have entered that client number. So through which client you are accessing the data. Yeah. Okay. So now, whenever you develop a report, say for example, you have developed a report, the report name is some ABC or XYZ. So this report you have developed, this program you have developed in a development server. So the basic assumption is this development server is only meant for creating and developing the programs. Functional people, that means we can classify SAP into 2 categories like functional and technical.
Yes.
So there could be 2 guys which were handling the SAP throughout, the functional guys and technical guys. Functional guys mainly deal in terms of business. They understand the business very well. And the technical guys, what they need to do is they need to convert the functional requirement into the technical requirement, and they need to develop some applications. That is as an ABAPer, that is our responsibility. Okay. So we need to create some programs, we need to create some applications basically. So that is our responsibility. So now if you create a program, assume that the program name is XYZ. So your development will be carried out in a development server. Once your development is over, then your program will be moved to quality server. Okay. In the quality server, they will test the program, whether your program is working fine or not. Quality server has the same data as that of the production server. Production server is a server which customer will use for his business. It's a actual system. Production system means actual business system. Okay. So development server is for developing a program, quality is for testing the program, production is to do business on your program. Okay. So in a development server, one can develop the programs. In quality server, after developing the program will be moved to quality, and if the quality everything is okay, then the program will be moved to production. So this is the scenario, a real-time scenario. So now here what we have done, we have entered into the SAP initial screen. So assume that this is the development environment, because you are learning here. Most of the times we will develop it, we will test it here itself. So we will not enter into this scenario because we don't have that means actually we don't have a requirement to move it to quality and production, because we are learning here. So, but how to move, that and all I will tell you, how to move the program or how to move your application from development to quality, that I will tell you. Fine. So now let us come back to our SAP screen. This is called SAP initial screen. So this, the top portion where my cursor is called, these are called menu items, and each menu item contains sub-menu items. Sometimes sub-menu items also contains further sub-menu. Okay. So there are 3 levels of down in menu items are possible. Okay. So these are the menu items. Say for example, if you take the current screen, menu, edit, favorites, extras, these are the menu items. System and help are the menu items which will be there in any screen of SAP. So in sometimes they will ask in interview what are the menu items which will be there in all the screens of SAP throughout the SAP. So system and help, these 2 menu items will be there in any screen of the SAP. Remember. Yep.
Okay.
Then the next one, this is something like command prompt. You know, run command, run in Windows. You know this?
Yes. Yes.
Do you have ever used this?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yes.
now if you look into this SAP initial screen, there is something here where you can enter. I'm typing something, right?
Yes.
So this is called command prompt, where you can type transaction. Okay. Remember, in SAP, everything is done via transaction. Okay. So write down, a transaction is a set of screens. Transaction is a set of screens which will define a process. So what I meant to say is, tomorrow if you want to create a program, how to create a program? There will be a transaction. The transaction name is SE38. Okay. So you enter the transaction here, press enter. You will go into another transaction. Here you will create a program actually. Okay. So this is the use of this command prompt. So what is the command prompt use is, you can enter some transaction to navigate in between the SAP. Yep. Then if you see here, there are several buttons. Okay. So have you observed this button? So this is something called a log off. This is a print button. This is find button, and so on. So this entire bar is called application toolbar. Okay. Otherwise, this is also called as standard application toolbar. Then the next one, this is called description bar. The below line of the application toolbar is called a description bar. So the description bar indicates what SAP current screen is doing. For example, if I go to SE38, what is the description bar is showing here?
ABAP editor.
ABAP editor. So that means you will do some ABAP related program here. Okay. If you want to come back, click on back button. You will be back. Okay. Then the below this bar is called custom application toolbar. This bar, which is below the description bar, is called custom application toolbar. The bar which is above the description bar is called standard application toolbar. You getting the difference between the two toolbars? This is a standard, which is above the description bar is a standard application toolbar, which is below is called a custom application toolbar. Now, what is the difference between a custom application toolbar and standard application toolbar is, this is standard in the sense, tomorrow if you want to put another button here, you cannot put. But custom application toolbar, here you can put your own buttons. This is a standard SAP toolbar which is provided by SAP. You cannot modify this. Okay. So then the next thing is, see this area. This area is called a work area. That means where the actual business will be shown, business data will be shown to you. Otherwise, if you are doing a programming, the actual programming code will be shown to you. This is the working area. And then if you show the bottom means, if you are in a net meeting, please scroll down so that my cursor will seen to you. If you see here, this is called status bar. Say for example, some new person came, he don't know what is SAP. He might have typed his name here. Say for example, I will type some name here. I'll press enter. So if you observe the below status bar, what it is saying? Transaction does not exist. Yeah, so that means the status bar is there to guide you whether what you are doing is right or wrong, or what's happening in SAP. So this is the use of the status bar. It will give some messages regularly so that you can go in a right way. It will lead you into the right way. So this is your SAP initial screen. Okay. Is it clear? Like SAP initial screen, you have understand what are all the areas are there. Some menu items are there, some buttons are there, and some description will be there, some working area and the status bar. It's very simple. Okay.
Okay.
So now Now, the process of the SAP starts with a transaction. I told there will be a transaction for each and every process. Fine. So now let us discuss about the transactions. I will tell you few transactions today. So if I go for SE38, SE38 is ABAP editor. There are around 98,000 of transactions are there in SAP, but I don't want to discuss all those transactions. I will just give you some 30 or 20 to 30 transactions which are very important in our future. Okay, so regularly we'll use these transactions. So SE38 is ABAP editor and SE80 is object navigator. Object navigator.
Is that object?
Then yes,
Object or
object.
object? Object.
Object.
Okay.
OBJECT. JECT. Object.
Okay.
Object navigator. SE16 is the data browser. SE24 class builder. So there is a transaction called S11. S11 is for data dictionary. SHDB, the transaction for recording. SHDB. Yeah, SHDB. SM35 is the session overview. So LSMW stands for Legacy System Migration Workbench. SE18 for body. SE19 Yeah, fine. So there were some important transactions like the list whatever I have given here. So these are some of the important transactions for you. So don't worry by seeing the transactions, but on regular basis we will go to each and every transaction and we will learn what actually everything was doing. So don't worry by seeing the list of the transactions. But try to just go through the transactions once. So whenever we are going to say for one transaction, you can just have an idea. Okay, for this purpose we are going to this transaction. Fine. So now today I will take you into the transaction SE38. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So I'll take you into the SE38 transaction. So this is ABAP editor where you can create the program. If I want to come back from here, how can I come back?
Using the back button.
Using the back button. Good. And there is another transaction SE11. SE11 stands for what?
Data dictionary.
Data dictionary. Okay, so I'll go SE11. So here it's saying ABAP dictionary initial screen. Okay, fine. So this is called a data dictionary where you can create tables and all. Now, if you want to come back, I'll again click on back. Now I have a question. I will go for SE38. I'll type here SE11. I'll press enter. So will I go to SE11 screen? I'm pressing enter, but It's not taking it to S11. If you want to go to the S11, come back, then type here S11. Then you can go. Okay. So
Okay.
if you want to go to any transaction, just come to SAP initial screen. From the initial screen only you can go. From middle of the something you cannot jump to another transaction. Then, so you understand the concept, right? So from the middle of other transaction you cannot go to the another transaction. Now, say for example I am in a transaction S11. Now I am in S11. Yeah. So if you want to come back, what I am doing? Clicking on a back button. There is a transaction called /n. If I give a /n and press enter, I am coming back. So whatever the back button serves, the same thing could be served by the transaction /n. Now, I will go to SE38 transaction. I will give here /n S11. Now tell me what will happen.
It will go to the
S11.
S11 page, yeah.
Yeah, S11. /n means it will go back to the initial screen, and after that it will go to the S11. So if I press enter, it's going to S11. So that means if you are already in one transaction, if you want to go to another transaction, give /n and go. If you simply give the transaction alone, it will not take you. Similarly, there is another transaction called /o. /o is a transaction to create a session. Session in the sense, if you just scroll down and see, there is a one window. As of now, we have one window for SAP. Okay, if I press /o, it is asking me, shall I create another window? Session means a window, another window. Okay, shall I create another window, or shall I end up the existing window? That is what it's asking. So I will say generate. Generate means I am saying create another window. So now if you see the if you just scroll on and see, there is another window, new window got opened now.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the use of /o. /o will generate a new window, and /o is also used to end up the existing window. Say for example, I have 3 windows. I want to cut down my second window. Give /o, press enter. It will show you the 3 windows. You select the second window, put the cursor on second window, and click on end session. If you click on end session, a second window will be cut off automatically. So in SAP we will call it as a session. We don't call it as a window. We will call it as a session. So session is equivalent to your window. Now then the next step is, now I'm in SAP initial screen. I'll give /o SE38. If I give like this, a new window will be opened with SE38 transaction. If I give /o plus some other transaction, a new window will be opened with the particular transaction.
Okay.
Yeah. Then the next thing is, if you want to log off from the system, you click on this exit button. It is asking you, user unsaved data will be lost. Do you want to log off? Click on yes. You will come out. You will come out from the SAP. This is how generally you will log off from the SAP. Okay, fine. Now there is a transaction code to log off from the SAP. I'm log on again. I'm going to log in again. So now I have logged in again. Say for example, I have already opened some sessions. This button, the button which I am clicking, when I click this button, a new session will open every time. This is just like a /o.
Okay.
So like, say for example, I have many screens. I want to log off. I will say /nex. /nex is a command to log off from the system. /nex is a transaction to log off. if I press enter now, all the sessions are logged off. That means all the sessions are closed and you are out of the SAP. What is the difference you observed? What is the difference you observed when you click on a exit button or log off button and when you click on /NEX? What is the difference you observed? /NEX, when you are using a /NEX, and previously we clicked on exit button and we logged off. So what difference you observed between these two logoffs? Okay, in any other major difference? So when you are clicking on exit button, there is a pop-up. The unsaved data will be lost. Do you want to save or do you want to log off? There is a pop-up, right? But when you are doing the /NEX, there is no pop-up. /NEX is a dangerous. That means what I can say is it's something which will not give a guarantee. Say for example, you are in the middle of the program. By some you forgot that you are in the middle of the transaction. Just type /NEX and then your data will be lost. It will not ask for any confirmation.
Yes.
Okay. Fine. Then. So now today we have seen some important transactions. Okay. So now we will also see some functional transactions.
Okay.
So before going to the functional transaction, we need to understand a business actually. What will happen in general business? Say for example, I want to buy a bike. Okay. So what generally you want to buy a bike? What you will do? You will go for a shop and you will try to purchase a bike, right? So what are the business steps they will follow? Any business, what are the steps they will follow? First step is if you are trying to purchase a bike, you are the customer, and the company which is going to sell the bike to you is a vendor, right?
Okay.
So now that the company will check whether the stock is available or not. Okay, so then if the stock is not available, then that company will go for a purchase requisition. So the first step is purchase requisition. This is the first step in any. So these are the standard business steps in any business. Okay. So first you are going to buy something. If you are whatever you are trying to buy, if it is not available in the industry, or if it is not available in the shop people or organization people will raise a purchase requisition. So purchase requisition contains the details of what is the quantity required, how much quantity it is required. Once you raise the purchase requisition will go for a finance approval, and finance people said, okay, you can buy this. Then what will happen? The next step is request for quotations. So then once you got the request for quotations, the next step is the vendors will send the quotations. I will explain the scenario once I complete all the steps. Okay. Okay, fine. Now let us come to the scenario. Like, what is the actual business process will happen? Aditya and Ambu, just listen. So
Okay.
assume that there is an organization. There is an organization one. Okay. Now, this organization one, say for example, is a JK Initial Info System. Want to purchase some computer. Say this company want to purchase some systems. Okay. So then what this company will do, in this company there will be a department, this department is a purchase department. Okay. So this purchase department will check, that means this department is know that this company required some 100 computers. Then this purchase department, what it will do, it will create a purchase requisition. Okay. So this purchase requisition contains the details of how many computers they required, what is the configuration they required, how much quantity, and the other details. It will have those details. So this will be prepared by the purchase department. Once the purchase department prepares, then this purchase requisition will go to the finance department. In the same organization, there will be a finance department. So purchase requisition will go to the finance department. So now the finance people of the department will see and they will estimate the cost. Okay, for this 100 computers, it will cost around some 2 lakhs or something. Okay, then they will if the funds are available in the organization, they will give the approval. Once the finance people has given the approval, then this purchase people will rise for quotations. Say for example, there is a Samsung company is there, LG company is there, and some other company is there. So now this organization will send request for quotations to all the companies. So now this organization will ask Samsung company how much rate and how much time, within how much time you can deliver the goods, and how much is the price of your systems. Like that, it will ask for 2 or 3 companies. Okay, so that is called request for quotation. Request for quotation means your company, that means the company which want to purchase, it will ask the other companies about the price and the date of delivery and other related things that will be covered in request for quotations. So now assume that all the companies has sent their quotations. So quotations means in response to your request for quotations, the companies will send the quotations to you. Okay, then once the quotations you receive, then you will compare all the quotations. Okay, Samsung want to provide me 100 computers for 2 lakhs, whereas Dell will provide for some 1,90,000 itself or something. You will compare the quotations. So that is the next step, comparison of the quotations. The next one is a purchase order. Okay, once you decide that to which company you want to place an order, so then you will create a purchase order. Now, till this point, you have 2 or 3 companies. That means you have checked all the companies which will give you the best option. After that, you decided to buy and you are going for one company. That is called a purchase order. Your purchase order will become the sales order of the second company. Say for example, you have chosen a Samsung company or you have chosen a Dell. So your purchase order becomes a sales order for Dell.
Okay.
Okay. And then once the Dell company or the Samsung company receives the sales order, they will prepare the goods, they will prepare the computers, they will send it to you. That is called goods issue and delivery. So they will give you the delivery.
Okay.
Once the delivery is done, then what will happen? Invoice, you need to give the billing, you need to pay the payment. That will be done in invoice and billing. Okay. So this is a general process in any business. Fine.
Yes.
So
Okay.
SAP also supports the same business processes. SAP supports the business process, and SAP, that means if any other additional requirements are there apart from the actual business process, through ABAP we can develop the applications.
Okay.
Fine.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So this is a common business process, and we can develop any other requirement through ABAP. Fine. So already we have seen some transactions. These are all the technical transactions. Now I will tell you few functional related transactions. Say for example, if you want to create a material, I want to create a material. Okay. So I will go for a I want to go for a transaction MM01. These are the functional transactions. Actually, ABAPer, as an ABAPer, there is no need to have a knowledge of these transactions, but this should be required because tomorrow what will happen? Because ABAP is the basic of every module. Even though some person getting some problem somewhere, he will come to you. Okay. Say for example, tomorrow, while creating a purchase order, he is getting some problem. So he will come to you and he will say, "Hi, boss, when I am creating a purchase order, something is happening. Can you just see?" Then purchase order means very basic. That means you should know the transaction of the purchase order. Okay. So fine. Like this, I will give you some basic transactions. MM01 is to create material. MM03, MM02, sorry. Need to change the material. MM03, display material. So these are the three transactions. One is for creating the material, another one is changing the material, and displaying the material. Okay. And then one more thing. Like say for example, if I want to create a material, so what functional consultants will do? They will log in into the SAP. Say what is the transaction I have told to create a material? MM01, right? So they will go to the MM01. Okay, this is a screen to create a material. So this screen will ask us some details. Okay, boss, you want to create a material? It's asking me what is the material number. I need to enter the material number. Material number is M01 or 2 or something, whatever. Then it's asking industry sector. Industry sector means this material you are going to use in which industry, whether it's a beverage industry or chemical industry or mechanical industry or food and related. What industry you will use this material? You need to fill some industry sector. Similarly, you need to fill this is a compatible unit or configurable material, or which kind of material it is, material type. So this is how you need to enter several details. So what I'm going to say is, if you take any transaction is a set of screens. Okay.
Yes.
In the first screen you will enter some details. Press enter. Another screen will come. In that also you will enter some details. Another screen will come. Like that, every transaction is a set of screen where you need to provide some details, and finally you will click on save. When you click on save, SAP store this data into different tables.
Okay.
SAP segregates all your inputs and it will store. Just assume, just like your Gmail account or Yahoo Mail account, you will create a Gmail account. Then what will happen? It will ask to register you first. Then you will enter your name, password, everything you will enter. Then you will try to click on account something. Then it will create you an account, right? When you are coming on the next day, you can log in with the same account. That means what happening? Your account is already storing somewhere. When you are coming next day, that means whatever the stored data is there, that is comparing with your actual data. So if your account is there, then your account details will be displayed to you. Similarly, when you create a material, the material details will go and store in a tables. Okay, SAP has some SAP standard tables. SAP has already some tables are there in SAP. So the material details will go and store in some tables. Those tables are Mara, Marcy, Mardi, MVKE, and so on. There are so many tables are there. So when you create a material and save, the material details will be stored in these tables. Okay. Tomorrow you again came to the lab and you want to check the material. You will go to MM03 transaction. Then the data from these tables will pulled out and they will be displayed to you. Okay. So this is for creating a material. Similarly, ME21N is to create purchase order. ME22N is to change purchase order. (22). It's not 21. See, every time one stands for creation, 2 stands for change, 3 stands for display. Okay, so ME21N if I give, that is a creation of the purchase order. ME22N if I give, that is a change of purchase order. ME23N
Display the purchase.
Display of the purchase order. So once you create a purchase order, the details will be stored in the tables EKKO, EKPO, EKEP, and so on. So just remember this enough. Then the next one, this is for purchase order. Then the next transaction is BA01. Creation of the sales order. VA02 is for change, VA03 is to display the sales order. The tables are VBAK, VBAP, VBUK, and so on. VBEP, VBFA. These are related to sales order. Then the delivery, BL01 is a transaction for creation of the delivery. So the related tables which will store the delivery details are LKP, LFPS, then the next one is billing, VF01 is a transaction to create a billing document. And the tables which store the details are VBRK, VBRP, BKPF, BSEG. These are the tables which will store the details and so on. So there are many tables. Okay, so these are the important tables. That means in the future, if you want to just refer weekly, say for example tomorrow some people are coming and they are saying something is going wrong in a billing document, then go for VF01 transaction, and the details of the VF01 transaction will go and save in these tables. Just have an idea, no need to remember the transactions, no need to remember the tables, because once you finish the course, automatically you will remember the transactions, automatically you will remember some tables. No need to concentrate on this very much, but if you want to just go through it, that's useful. Okay,
Okay.
fine. So now today we have seen some important tables and some important transactions and SAP system landscape. SAP system landscape will ask you to have 3 servers. The 3 servers are
Product.
development server, quality server, and production server. Yeah, and production server. And then SAP architecture also I will tell you. And after SAP architecture, we'll just conclude. So SAP architecture means SAP will have 3 layers. First layer is GUI layer. So first layer is called as GUI. This is also called presentation. GUI means any idea?
Graphical user interface.
Yeah, graphical user interface. Good. So graphical user interface means the screen which can interact. Okay. So see, this is the graphical user interface of SAP. This is SAP screen, right? With this screen we can interact. So this is the graphical user interface. Then the next layer is what next? The bottom layer is called database layer. So this is DB, database layer. So what generally database layer will do?
It is like a backend.
Yeah, it's a backend. It will store the data. So from the GUI side, whatever you are doing, that data SAP database will store. In between a GUI and database, there is one more layer. So this layer is called application layer. So this is application layer. This is the database. This is GUI. GUI is also called as a presentation layer. GUI is also called as a presentation layer. Then this is application layer. This is the database layer. SAP has 3 layers. GUI means SAP screen which can interact with you. Graphical user interface. It acts like interface between you and SAP. And database is the place where the data will go and store. Application layer will communicate between GUI and database. So in order to execute your logic in your programs, this application layer is required. Okay. Apart from this, SAP will also make use of another database. This is called main database. Okay, SAP will also make use of another database. This is the main database SAP will use. So this main database generally belongs to SQL or Oracle. So SAP has actually these three layers, and these three layers every time talk with main database. So this is SAP. SAP has three layers: GUI, application, and database. This database layer always talks with the main database. There is a communication with SAP database and main database. So you cannot see the main database because it will be there as a SQL database or Oracle database. We can see the SAP database in S11 transaction. S11 is the transaction for data dictionary. In the data dictionary, we can see what is existing in SAP database. But this main database you cannot see. And application layer also you cannot see because it will be running in the background. Yeah. And GUI you can see. GUI, that means whatever user interaction, whatever the programs you can do, that data you can see. Okay. Fine. And coming to some real time scenarios. Once you finish with your SAP, tomorrow if you go and join in a company, there are three kinds of projects are there.
Okay.
First one is implementation. Implementation project or rollout project, and second one is support project. Third one is upgrade project. Okay. So what is the implementation project means? Say I'm using .NET. As of now, for my business I'm using .NET, or I'm using some Java, or I'm using some VB or something, or I'm maintaining data in Excel. Now I want to go with the SAP. So that is called implementation project. So implementation project means until that point the business was not using SAP. Now you need to implement the SAP for them. That is the implementation project. So the tenure or the duration of the implementation project will be around 1 year, 1 to 1.5 year. So that means it depends on how big the organization is. If you want to implement SAP for some Reliance Industries or some very big company, it will take very long day. Automatically it will take very long tenure. Fine. So this is called implementation project. Implementation project means SAP is not there till that point. You need to implement that. Then rollout. Rollout means generally, say for example, a company is there which has a plant in Australia, which has a plant in US. Now what it will do? It will try to implement SAP for Australia. If everything is working fine in Australia, then it will go for US. That is called the rollout. Rollout means the customer will check whether for one plant it is working fine or not. If he satisfies, he will implement for the other plant also. That is called a rollout project.
Okay.
Okay, then support. Support project in the sense you have already implemented SAP. Then after that, customer requires some extra features. Customer requires some other small programs. So those will come under support. So support means customer is already using SAP. He wants some support from you to run his business smoothly. So that is a support project. Support project will be running together in years and years and years. So actually customers require always support. So sometimes what will happen, say for example, if you are working in some Accenture company or Wipro company, you will be working with a customer. Generally your customers will be some Coke or some Procter and Gamble. So you are some familiar companies you can see in industries. So those companies, what they will do, they need your support. So sometimes there were scenarios like from the Accenture they will take the employees permanently with them. Say for example, your project team will be some when implementing, your project team will be around 10 members, right? So assume that now Accenture is a company which is implementing SAP for Coke. from Accenture side, some 10 people will implement SAP for Coke. Okay, now what will happen during the implementation? There will be interaction between Accenture team members and Coke members. So after the completion of the project, Coke people need support to run their business smoothly. Then Coke people, what they will do? They will take 1 or 2 employees permanently with them by giving good packages. That will happen generally. Okay. So, but it will not happen always, but rarely it will happen. The client will take the employees, some employees to support. Fine. The next one is upgrade. Upgrade project means, do you know the different versions in the Windows? Windows has Windows Vista, Windows XP, Windows 2000. Yeah, like that. SAP also has some versions. SAP has SAP 3 version, SAP 3.D, 4.6C, 4.6B, ECC 5, ECC 6, and so on. Right now, we are running with ECC 7.2. In the market, ECC 7.2 is there right now. Okay. So the latest version of the SAP is ECC 7.2. If somebody is using the older versions, the older versions are, say for example, 4.6C, 4.6B. If some customers are using that versions, if they want to go for the latest version, so that will be dealt in upgrade projects. If the customer want to change the version of the SAP, that is an upgrade. If the customer want to implement the SAP, that is the implement. Implement means a new implementation. Till that point, the customer is not using SAP, then that is implementation. Support means adding some extra features. Okay. So these are the these are the various projects which will be available in SAP. Fine. So remember, this is the architecture. Architecture has 3 layers: GUI, application, and database. And every time the database will communicate with the main database. And this is the common business scenario, steps in common business scenario. Okay. And these are the different transactions and tables we have discussed today. And this is the system landscape. System landscape will describe you SAP should recommend you to have 3 servers: development, quality, and productions. Okay, with this details we will conclude for today. We will discuss more in the next class. Okay, so until then, just go through this go through these details, and then we'll discuss more details in the next class. Fine. Yeah. Thank you then. Bye.
ఎవరికి ఫైల్ పెట్టి నేను పేరు పెట్టి ఫైల్ అటాచ్ డాక్యుమెంట్ అవసరం రెజ్యూమ్ అన్ని తెలుసుకుంటే సపరేట్ అంటే నేను పంపిస్తున్నా కదా వర్క్ జాబ్ రిక్వెస్ట్ థ్యాంక్ యూ రిక్వెస్ట్ కాకుండానే నేను ఎక్కువ
Structure of DSO improvement DSA. Due to differentiation, comparison, we have comparison of DSO improvement DSA, addition expense and structure of DSO improvement DSA. Even for that, we should be.
సరే చలిగా ఉందిరా.